All right, time to get down to episode 24, Mr. Gloat Podcast. This is going to be a short 30-minute episode. Today is the 21st. As I'm recording this is the 21st of May. Even though I'm going to upload this maybe today or maybe tomorrow on the 22nd. I only have a couple topics to talk about. Well, maybe three topics. This first one will just go by quickly. As of right now, I am going to take an airplane trip on the 25th of May down south. I'm not going to say if I'm going to Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina. It doesn't matter. I'm not. I am taking my first plane trip out of the States, even though the farthest I ever left was going to New Hampshire and Massachusetts at one point, and I was a baby, not remembering going to Canada. But again, there's nothing much to it. So I just think it's better for me to take a break, try to find some new fresh air, and just take a long vacation. To be with someone, to be with a friend of mine, helping me through, and try to go around. And the reason I'm doing it is for two reasons. One is because okay. See, this is one of the reasons why I'm taking the break. Is because I think it's better for me to get used to my sore throat, and I am practicing trying to get rid of my tongue twisted moments and to try to talk more straight, more clean, and to be a more clean talker. So I am practicing talking for words, even though I do clear my throat 100 times, and it's hard for me to go to bed when I'm talking too much. And I don't take a breath of fresh air as much. Now, of course, this entire podcast I do is supposed to be a group of people, just like the Opie Anthony, Distractables podcast, the Deadlock podcast, many great people that are in a group of people. I'm still trying to find interviews and to interview with other people and to be around with, because talking in a group of people is actually good to be with, because if you're a one-man person doing this all by yourself like I am, it's an unhealthy situation. So it's really hard for me to do all this at the same time while I'm damaging my voice, and I can't talk very straight that much. And the second reason, like I said before, I'm just trying to take a break, and because of the internet, comments and such, and seeing what's going to happen while online comments and such as we speak. So I really can't say much about that. So with all that being said, let me get to my second topic today. And today, this topic goes out to one of those people in the comments just for the fun of it. This is going to be funny. One person in the comments actually told me, said, quote, "Do you actually believe that Rico Verhoeven can beat Oleksandr Usyk?" I replied to him saying, I'm 100%. 100%. I'm 100%. Rico Verhoeven can score out an upset victory and go in and win big time. And I can see that happening. And he gave me a bet. He said, if you're really serious that Rico's going to win, you're going to have to bet. Now, whether you win depends on how, and whatever you celebrate it with, that's up to you. Well, that's not what he said, but I'm sure maybe that's what he meant to say. I don't know. But the second thing he said is, well, this is what he said. If I lose and Oleksandr Usyk wins, I have to delete my former YT channel. And you know what? I didn't reply to him. And even though he wasn't being a hater, even though the way he commented the stuff was, even though he did say he was doing it for my own good, and we'll see what happens. But I did accept his bet, even though I didn't reply to him. But if you're watching this video, I accept your bet. So with that being said, we're going to have to wait and see what happens. We're 2 days away from Giza. And even though I am going to record my next podcast in a few days on the 24th, because I do have to leave this place. So I'm going to edit. I'm only going to record maybe a 40 or just a 30 or 50, maybe under an hour long episode, just a short episode of the pay-per-view of Giza, just to go short for it because I don't want to record as much, maybe 40 minutes or so. These last two podcasts, I'll be taking breaks as we speak. By the way, as we're speaking, episode 99 of my Hunger Game videos are over. So as for the VTubers, I'm thinking of just releasing the 100th final episode of the Hunger Game videos. And if I do lose against Verhoeven and Verhoeven loses, and if my channel does get deleted on, I'm going to have to wait maybe for a couple months because I'm going to have to download some of my videos and then upload the Mr. Gloat episodes I did on my Foxwolf channel and upload them on this channel because I don't know how to, transfer videos on another channel, even though for the heck of it. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. So with all that being said, it's going to be a doozy. So it might take some months for me until I delete anything. Because the only archives I'm going to save on my former channel will be all of my 100 episodes of Hunger Games, make an archive channel and just upload them all. As long as no one else does the same thing, or else I'm going to have to report them on YouTube. And that's a promise. And probably save the Gloat episodes for the time being. They're not good, but it's better to keep them for an archive of this channel. So with that being said, we'll just have to wait and see. All right, so we're already 7 minutes into this, and we only have 23 minutes left of this. So what's the third and final topic? Well, I would have to take a drink of water. I'll do it later. Pretty much. Well, anyway, still. Now just to be, I don't want to act crazy in this episode. I don't want to overdo it because I am trying to relax and just take it easy for this episode because I don't want to overdo it because there's nothing crazy I want to do yet in this episode. I'm just trying to take it easy as we speak. But again, we're just going to have to go along with the dodo birds. So, MVP has already reported that Clarissa Shields is not going to be involved in MVP, as MVP Promotions banned Clarissa Shields after altercations out with Alicia Baumgartner and other stuff. With information-wise, it's going to be a doozy as we speak. Also, yesterday, Oleksandr Usyk has reported, quote, as he wants to fight for another undisputed championship. Even though Daniel Dubois is champion and fighting him a third time makes no difference. And again, Wardley activated his rematch clause. Why would you do that? I just feel like Wardley is not going to live very long or even survive long enough. Like, it's almost similar. It's going to be in the same situation like Gerald McClellan or even Chris Eubanks' opponent that also got involved in an accident in the 90s as well, just like Gerald McClellan. So I just have a feeling Fabio Wardley is not going to be in the right state of mind as we speak. But again, we're just going to have to wait and see. Again, it's ridiculous. He wants to fight for it, but again, not fighting Agit Caballella, he could almost have that belt stripped. If he does defeat Rico Verhoeven, legit, it's going to depend on who you're asking. And I'm scared. Scared to understand what we're getting ourselves into. And I don't know if I mentioned this. The IBF and WBA are putting out some reporteds, as they are pointing out that if Rico Verhoeven does win the fight, for WBC, they will vacate the IBF belt away from Usyk. The WBA, we don't know. Of course, if Usyk wins the fight, they're gonna let him keep the belts for the time being as we speak. But betwixt us, I can't go out and say it's possible with all time beings because it's just not the time to talk about it yet. It's just a matter of time when the opportunity is ready because the only thing I can point out is whether or not Usyk defeats Rico Verhoeven, he still says before the Verhoeven fight he has 3 fights left. He beats Verhoeven, he has 2 fights left. It's like and again, he's going to hold up the heavyweight division if he's only going to fight this year, just this once this year. And even if he defeats Rico Verhoeven by round 2 TKO, which I will be shocked if he does, and it's crazy. So I do find that to be a little bit of a surprising fact as we speak. It is crazy. But all in all, I really can't say for certain whether or not any of this is comprehensible because at the end of the day, everyone has their own opinions about who you think is in the right and who's in the wrong. The only problem is if Usyk does win this fight quickly, what are the odds of him fighting again a second time this year? It's just a waste because if he's going to wait another year until he turns 40, you don't know how his body is going to handle when he turns 40 years old. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Vladimir Klitschko was 39 years old when he lost against Tyson Fury. And Usyk is also 39 years old as well. Even though Vladimir did defend his title against Brian Jennings in April, 1 month after he turned 39 and won the fight easily in America. Again, I just like this Verhoeven fight. It's just like if Verhoeven does win, which is my prediction, and I do say winner by 12 rounds, it's going to be a humdinger of a ride. It really is. Because anything is possible. A lot of crazy things can happen in a matter of years. Who knows? It's like one day something bad will happen. If someone is going to take an airplane trip, or if Usyk tries to return home. Like, let's just say that Usyk defeats Rico Verhoeven, and then for some reason God works in mysterious ways and says, no, I think it's your time to go. It's like, is Usyk too greedy? Is he doing it for the money and he's doing it so greedy and God is telling him not to do it? Just retire from boxing before something bad happens to you? Is he going to suffer in a plane crash just like Rocky Marciano after he returns home after defeating Verhoeven? Again, I don't want to go through that type of stuff, but again, if Usyk is doing this for money and such, if you're doing it for the good of it, not for your family, but mostly for your country and such, as long as you use it wisely, I don't think it's going to be a problem, but it does make you wonder what God is telling him. And technically, I can't read what any of this is going around because I'm just lost for words. I really am. And I wish I can explain it more, but at the end of the day, I just have nothing to say. I really have nothing to say. It's ridiculous. Anyway, we only have 15 minutes left, and like I said, this is gonna be a short, quick podcast. It's crazy. So here's the information we have on on May the 21st. Jack Catterall is trying to finally get Jack Catterall is trying to get a good opportunity. He's taking on another Ukrainian fighter. Like I said before, Usyk fears Dubois and Wardley will both be affected as street fighters, which is said by Ring Magazine just today as this information is coming out. I just have to say to myself, he's not wrong. And I'm like, people say that Moses Atama should get this title fight against Daniel Dubois, and my reply to that is, don't. Now, I'm not doing it because he's British, because two things. One, Moses Atama is not British. His father's Nigerian and his mother's Slovakian, and he was born in Slovakia, and they moved from country to country to go to the UK because their childhood life wasn't being polite for them in their country of Slovakia, so they had to move. So partly his father's Nigerian, his mother's Slovakian, he's born in Slovakia, so I'm sure that makes sense. So, yeah. And just like Derek Chisora, he's from Zimbabwe, born in Zimbabwe. So even if he does become champion or something, if they do give him saying that his wife said he's gonna give him a chance to fight Deontay Wilder again, and then boom, they get a title fight for some reason and he wins. He's not gonna do it as being a British fighter. He's gonna be the first Zimbabwe boxer in Zimbabwe born in that country to become champion. That's the truth. And that's the same thing for Martin Bakali. He's from Tobago, the Congo, of the Republic of the Congo. They say those guys are British, but they're born from other countries before from the UK. So I wouldn't be upset if they fought for the title. Yes, I am a little bit upset that these British fighters are getting the title fights and guys like Agit Kabayela, because Agit Kabayela, in my opinion, is like becoming the next fighter to become a waste of time because he's been boxing for 15 years since 2011. 2 years more than Oleksandr Usyk in 2013. In the pros. Like, I was going to say that Zhili Zhang was a waste of time in the heavyweight because he has 0 title fights in his career, but yes, losing against Agit Kabayel was bad enough, but the problem for now, Kabayel is now he's not going to get that opportunity. It's crazy. I just don't know what to say. So, but again, it is wasteful. Just like Moses Atama, like he's not a waste of talent, but I think now because he's now 21 years old, he's surpassed away from Mike Tyson. He's about to surpass Floyd Patterson's record as the second youngest and also Muhammad Ali in the next year. So it's better to wait maybe a year or so, maybe until he's 23 years old. Or he can even be before he surpasses the youngest British heavyweight champion, which is the WBO champion, Herbie Hyde, who was the first champion in 1994 at the age of 22 years old. Like, if Moses Atama can break that record as a young British boxer, that would be good. So I just can't. Like, Moses Atama taking on Daniel Dubois in the situation that Dubois did to Wardley, like, I can't even talk straight. It's not worth it. It's a suicidal mission. Like, even though Moses hasn't been in a dangerous situation, even though he did do a lot from Jermaine Franklin, and Jermaine did put a good amount of rounds in him in that fight, so that was the first tough moment of his career. But again, this one's just it does make me seem it's going to be a really, really tough moment. I just say that. So pretty much, I just can't. allow that to be the case. By the way, Ryan Garcia says that Stevenson fight at 140 is possible after Ben. It's weird. Garcia wants Conor Ben. He wants to fight Shakur Stevenson. Why not just have a rematch with Rolly Romero and become unified champion to get your rematch fight or so? Like, Rolly Romero is a tough dude, but he's just a guy with a lucky run. And even if Rolly Romero does go up another weight class and becomes a 3-time world champion, depending how he wins it, which is crazy, I just don't know what to say about that. Another update on the 21st by Ring Magazine, written by, I don't know who the storyteller is that wrote this story, as I'm still trying to find it as we speak, but again, information states here that Richard Torres expects Frank Sanchez to get off to a strong start Saturday night. That I find tough. So Richard Torres knows he's up for it. He knows that Frank is a tough dude. Again, here's the thing. I can almost say that Richard Torres and Frank Sanchez are going to be two different people, because one of them is going to be an American White Hope. The other is trying to become the first ever Cuban heavyweight champion as we speak. So it's not like any of this is possible. Like, possibilities could arise. So yeah, even though being the aggressive southpaw might anticipate the pressure that might help out for the IBF title eliminator in Egypt, Richard Torres noticed that the Cuban contender didn't deal well with Adja Caballel constantly coming forward in their fight 2 years ago, intended to be implemented of the WBC Interim Championship, where the plans to face Sanchez on the Oleksandr Usyk Verhoeven undercard. I think Frank's a great fighter. I think being able to just compete with him and be on the same stage as him is really going to showcase where I'm supposed to be at. And to be honest, the rest of the story is just normal stuff. Even though Caballel is an incredible fighter, Torres also pointed out here, he's almost like the boogeyman of the division right now, you know. And so definitely being able to see how he did, his tactics against Frank, that's something I'm going to be looking at. But we are different fighters. We fight different. And the rest of the other information, you can read the rest of this if you want. But here's something interesting. It also states here that a ring card DAZN will stream from the Pyramids of Giza at 7 p.m. BST. Well, in Eastern Standard Time of New York, or Eastern Standard Time is 2 p.m. So it's going to be great to find the fights of the show. And so it's great that they're... So here in America, we can watch this during the mid-afternoon, which is good for us. So that's going to be great for me to stay up, not staying up all night, which is good. So that's pretty great. It's pretty nice. All I can say is this is going to be a doozy of a show. I'm going to put my money on Richard Torres winning this fight by decision. I think he might give Frank Sanchez a hard time. And Frank Sanchez, if he does win this fight, it might give him a late knockout victory in the championship rounds. Let me count. Let me see what rounds they're putting into themselves. The champion. Okay, so let me see. So here's my prediction for next time on the episode of the Gloat podcast. Like I said, Jack Catterall is fighting Shakram Jaslov in the welterweight on this same show. I say Jack has the win here. Richard Torres, this is also a 12-round fight, just like the Catterall fight. I say Torres will win by 12-round decision, even though Frank hasn't fought since November of 2025 against a guy with an 18-24 record, because that was his first win coming back from his Caballel fight. So it's going to be different to see him come back to fight a first fighter in 2 years. Hamza Shiraz, Alan Bejic, I'm sorry. Hamza Shiraz has the win. If Hamza doesn't win this fight and this fight ends in a draw or a defeat for Alan, it's going to be the biggest. It's going to be so bad. It's going to be so bad. I just have a problem with that. Hamza has to win this fight. I put my money on him winning this fight. It's going to be a doozy. The other four fights on these shows, like Sultan Ala Muhammad, a 3-0 fighter, he's going to go 4 rounds the distance against a guy named Debbie Imprax. It's going to be a 4-round bout. There's 3 other fights that are unknown question mark fights that are a cruiserweight fight named Jamar Taleh, who's ranked number 113 in the cruiserweight, and he is from New Jersey. Again, his competition, he has a couple decent wins in his 6 fights, and this is one of his other fights, so it'll be a good fight. We have a couple debut fighters coming into their career, so that's going to be a doozy. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we have 9 fights on the show. 4 of them don't really matter. The last 2 fights, as said, like I said before, Usyk and Verhoeven. Verhoeven wins. Oh, by the way, even though the Ring magazine did their stuff, Max Kellerman, they already had their own predictions and talking about the whole Verhoeven thing and Usyk thing. And then some days ago, they did talk about the fight card, but they did not talk about Mizuki Hiruta versus May Solomon. So May Solomon, she has 10 wins, 6 knockouts. And to this day, there is no footage of her fighting Yasmin Parr on November of 2025. And even though they said that DAZN did actually got live, like DAZN did record the Andrew Hunt and Monir Fatih fight, I can't find the footage of the Yasmin Parr versus May Solomon fight. All we know is May Solomon, she had her second pro fight was a split decision loss, and her first fight was a majority win, but 2 of the judges had it wide, 6 rounds, and the other even. The other fights of her career in 2023, after those 2 fights in 2024, 22 was different. She had 4th round knockout, a split decision 6-round fight against a 4-3 fighter, and then got an 8-round split decision 4 months later against a 4-3 fighter again. And then she scored knockouts in 2024. Barely had another split decision victory in August of 2024 against a 2-1-1 fighter. Not good for record to not barely win rounds. She scores a 3-round knockout, a round 1, a round 2, and those knockouts came in March, June, and August. And then in November, Yasmin Parr in this 10-round fight, Yasmin Parr demolished May so much in the first 6 rounds, only one judge gave May 1 round. And then in round 7, May came out of nowhere, coming to the mid part of the 7th round and won by TKO after losing by wide margins of only 1 single round she won. So if Mizuki Hiruta doesn't do anything like dominate this fight legit or even win by knockout, she's already scored 5 knockouts in 10 fights of her career. Well, she's scored 2 knockout wins. 3 of the others were out of 10 fights were knockouts. So she's knocked out 5 of her opponents in 10 fights. 2 of them were legit knockouts. 1, and of course, she does have a decent resume of fights. So again, Mizuki Hiruta, this will be 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be her 7th title defense, but if Mizuki Hiruta decides to vacate this super flyweight title and go up to fight in the bantamweight to take on world champion Chineka Johnson, I can say that's a legit fight, and I can say that will be history for Mizuki. I hope Mizuki does that, and I hope Chineka Johnson will be it. On paper, I say Mizuki Hiruta will defeat Chineka Johnson and become champion. So good luck with that. And with that being said, it's going to be a doozy. Oh, and if you want to talk about the Hergovich and Dave Allen fight and all that other crazy stuff on the shows the last few days ago, that doesn't really matter. That's just ignore all that. So yeah, with all that being said, with all of these pro fights, Yasmin Artiga's taken on another random person that's not even champion for unified champion. They don't want Adelaida Ruiz, or even friggin' Irma Garcia. None of the females in the super flyweight want to fight each other. So, like I said, Mizuki Hiruta gets her 7th title defense. She wins this fight. We'll see what her 8th title defense will be. Maybe she can even go in, and who knows? She might even decide to. She might actually be able to. She might be able to again go up to bantamweight. If Mizuki Hiruta wants to go up to bantamweight and then fight and go win, I can see that. So we can do that. With that being said, we're going to have to wait until that moment comes. Again, that's going to be in my entire fight card. Hamza Shiraz wins. Jack Catterall wins. Rico Verhoeven wins. Mizuki wins. And Jack Catterall wins. And that's about it. So with that being said, thank you for watching this. And we'll see you in episode 25. And after I'm done with the Rico Verhoeven Usyk fight, and after I review that, I will upload that. I'm already past the 30-minute mark, so I'm going to end this episode right now. So I'm already going to record it on the 23rd or the 24th. I'm going to review the show later in the night, and then I might upload it on the 26th. I will do the Hunger Game videos, the last 100th episode. I'll upload that on the 27th, next 6 days on Wednesday. So sorry for wasting time, but editing so much of the Hunger Game videos is tiring. So I'm happy that I'm done with it. I'm going to record that tomorrow or so, and then probably upload it in a few days. So we'll see what happens. But with that being said, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time for the Rico Verhoeven and Oleksandr Usyk showdown. See ya.